Hello guys, my name is Mystery Man, and I have something quite nice to show you. So, behind me is my SlimeVider, the sequential divider, and as you can tell, it uses a lot of slime, but it's for a good reason really. I built it like this because it's infinitely expandable as long as the chunks are loaded, and it will not lose any clock speed over doing that. It's a 16-bit divider for our demonstration, and each subtraction test is about 1 second long. So you do 1 second times 16, you get 16 seconds for a 16-bit number. And if you really wanted to get maybe a 16-bit decimal place, you can just double up your register to get 32-bit numbers. But I don't want to do that. We're going to use modulus instead. So up here we've got our remainders. So that'll help us get the remainders, and this is our quotient, so we can get our quotient. And personally, I think modulus is useful for a lot of applications. So yeah, just pick your pick, really. We've got a very sad test rig, but it works well, and that's all that matters. So, for the first number that I would like to demonstrate, we're going to do 27 divided by 5. I think that's a good number to do. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over here, and we're going to put 27 in the numerator, and we've got 5 as our denominator. And now, all I have to do is move these items over, and it'll start dividing. And as you could tell, just by me looking at this divider, it barely lags at all. And this is all thanks to this concrete roof I put here. If the roof wasn't there, it'd be meh, not as good. But yeah, I'm using a portal. It's like my laptop's mediocre, and it could still run pretty solid. So yeah, we've got 5 here, because 5 times 5 is 25. Plus 2 is, well, 27. So there you have it. That is correct. And for the next number I would like to calculate for you guys, we're going to do 16. And plus 4 gives us 20. And we're going to divide that by 1024. And what we have to do is, before we start the calculation, we need to reset the modulus so it becomes 0, because we don't want anything to mess up our calculation. So let's go ahead and just start the next calculation. So this calculation right here should give us 51 to the remainder of 4. So yeah, it's just going to chug away. And I can just kind of walk, around and about, show you guys that it's working well. If you're curious as to why everything is synced up and instantaneous, it's because my matter turned into a subtractor is actually an instant adder. It has a 1-tick output, and the input's instant, so it's a 1-tick adder in that respect. It just has a reset time of 1.5 ticks when it comes to just redstone ticks. Anyways, so let's just sum things up. So if we do 32 plus 16, we get 48. And then if we add 3 to 48, we get 51. And if we go to our remainder, we've got 4. And that is correct, 51 times 20. So if we break down 20 to 2, we can get essentially 101. And then times that by 10 to get 1,100, or was it 200? Oops, yeah, I've already messed up. But if you do the math, you do get that number. Yeah, I know. I'm not the best at doing mental math, so it's meh. But now we could do one last calculation. So that's good. We got the 51 remainder 4. I'll reset the modulus, and we're going to now do a very complicated number, or at least for this experiment I thought it'd be great. We're going to do 3,125 divided by 63. Wow, that sign was conveniently placed there, now was it? So we need to do 1 plus 4. And then we need to do 16 and 32. And then we need to skip 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I need to put 2 here. And that should be our number. And now we're going to divide it by 63. And 63 will be all the numbers on that's below 64. So let's just flip those levers like so. And we're actually good to go. So now let's go and divide. 3,125 divided by 63. And I'll tell you what the number is at the end of the calculation. So, well, she chugs away. There you go. Pretty good, not laggy at all. Even with 32 bits, this thing would be still pretty manageable for me. So you have nothing to fear there. And there's our answer. So what do we get? Well, we got 32 plus 16, so it's 48. Plus 1 is 49. And to what remainder you're thinking? Well, 32 plus 6, 38. So it's 49 to the remainder of 38. And if you do 49 times 63 plus 38, you get 3,125. So it's correct. Wow, what a mouthful. I'm sorry. But yeah, this divider works very well. So I'm quite happy that. Although, you know, just by standing here, I mean, 16 seconds doesn't seem so fast now, does it? So, I mean, you kind of get what you paid for at this size. If I wanted to build a divider that can theoretically calculate under 2 seconds, just under, I would have to build a very large setup. I'll explain why you can get a divider under just 2 seconds. You can have my subtractors, and since they're only 1 tick of an output, you can actually do the testing within that tick and then send it to the next one. So if you had 16 of these adders in a line and you times them by, yeah, so you'll get just under 2 seconds if you do all that math. But to get those timings down, it's going to get very precise, and for something that would take at least 16 subtractors to do, I don't think it's worth it. So that's where I leave that argument for now. Maybe I'll build it just for you guys. Tell me what you think. Yeah. So let's erase this, and now I'll talk about the hardware. So when we're kind of discussing how this works, it's very quite simple. We've got our numerator line, which is input A, and then for input B, we've got our denominator. As you see, this is the denominator portion. It's just this bottom part, and the numerator is the top. Numerator is a shift register. It just shifts in here. And this adder is in subtraction mode, so when there's a when you do, let's say, theoretically, let's say you had 3 minus 5, you get -2, right? Well, if you get a negative number, the sign bit will not trigger. Therefore, it will not add that number to the answer because it's an invalid number. But if we have a number, let's say 5, subtract 3, and we get 2, this would actually get our sign bit to turn on, which means we can now, if there's any data within this part of the register, it gets killed, and then it gets replaced by, well, in this case, 2, if we had 5 divided by 3. So 5 divided by 3, and then it gets replaced with the 2 here, and then the output gets added to our quotient that shifts along. So let me show you the actual hardware piece by piece. So here's my matter, just turned into a subtractor. And this is actually the newest version of my matter. And it's fast all thanks to just this simple trick. I replaced the dust with the block, and it's hecka fast, really fast. So, yeah, that's good. So we've got that taken care of, and, well, let me just show you where the subtraction goes. So the B and A inputs go there, and here's our sign bit. It's actually on, so when we get a positive number, it immediately turns off. It's actually, the sign gets calculated before the answer is, so it has enough time to actually kill the old input and replaces it with the new output of, well, the subtraction that works. And this is actually a classic shift register. I used it because it acts like a D flip-flop if I just put this side on it. So it was really useful and small. So yeah, essentially just keep cycling about and shifting. Shifts 15 times. You don't want to shift the last time because your modulus will get messed up by 1 bit. So I just simply added the synchronized repeater line to do 1 shift in the quotient to get our answer proper. And that's all I have to show you. If you're curious in seeing more redstone computer circuits like this, especially piston-based designs, if you say anything bad about pistons, well, that's your own opinion. In my opinion, pistons are great as long as you use them correctly. Anyways, yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, so if you want to see more interesting redstone computer builds, go ahead and give me a like or subscribe. And actually, I do plan to build a, I've actually already built it. I made an instant decoder, so you can actually get your output in less than 1 tick. So you input, you get, yeah. It's really fast, let me just say that. So if you're interested in seeing that instant decoder, just let me know in the comments, and I'll show it off. Mainly, all I've been really trying to do with the instant decoder, however, is I've been trying to reduce the redstone dust as much as I can, because redstone dust is the main lag causer in all these builds. So that's why I'm resorting to piston slime, just because they're so good. They're so good. They really are. And this instant decoder, if you think about it, allows you to do instant programs. I mean, think about how many times you can execute a clock cycle with something that's instant. So, yeah, a lot of plans for that in store. All right. Now that I left you hanging, I'm going to go. Take care. Goodbye.